Hey there. Well, things are still very up and down for me, but I don't want to let so long go between recording journals. So here's the second one from 723, and the Mayan day was 10 Jaguar. When will I cease being born? That's what this feeling seems to be, the continual birthing of what? I guess that's always the question. New understandings of self being born. The I that I am is already and always in its fullness. It needs no new birth. What changes is ever our perceptions, our increasing ability to perceive that which we are, the I am that I am, if you will, source. Here in this realm of 3D, we've had our wings clipped for quite some time. We've taken on and performed for some time as if we were these human forms we've been working with, or their minds. Now, once again, we come into remembrance that no, we are not that. These are but aspects of our creation, not our identity. Well, to see that is the first and biggest step, perhaps. For without that seeing, that vision or perspective on life, we're going nowhere. Until we can see that it's been a case of mistaken identity, we remain stuck in the matrix to a significant extent. While it is in our ability to exercise choice or free will to move beyond this, what comes first is simply seeing the situation, recognizing that we either are not the 3D manifestation or recognition of our true identity. Either way works, the neti, what we are not, or the I am that. We're all awakening now. To the extent that we're ready for it, that awakening comes on either fast or slow. In the infinite mercy of Creator, the compassion that is so much a part of all life, we are not forced into anything. Instead, we get to choose. Put another way, instead, we must choose, for that choice will not be made for us. And for those whose minds popped up and said, hey, wait a minute, I've been in all kinds of situations where I felt forced. Remember, your conscious mind is only 5%. You're the one doing the forcing if you're feeling forced. The interesting part, the one that many seem to miss, is that we are choosing it every minute, every now, and that this choosing goes on in the whole being, not just the 5 or 10% of mind that's conscious. Most of our choosing and creating may well be subconscious, unconscious. Those are aspects of mind or being that have remained hidden of necessity for quite some time, and I don't know how necessary it was. That too is changing. Now, as we awaken, part of it is expanding out into those further reaches of the mind, making parts and aspects of the subconscious conscious. We are becoming more aware of these previously hidden aspects of self, what is contained there. This happens to the extent we've cultivated it via our work in our own garden of belief. Certain weaves need to be removed before we can see clearly. This interior garden is at the heart of our personal creation, of our own reality. And whether we know it or not makes no difference. Knowing it, though, is empowering, enabling us to see more clearly what has been holding us back. Vision or seeing is always the herald of change, for vision empowers change. If you don't know what to desire or pray for, I'd suggest clarity of vision as an excellent choice. This year of 2013 and even 2012 has been a rocky ride for most of us. I suppose there are those who are so awakened, so well developed that their ride has been smooth, though I haven't yet encountered any of them. Nonetheless, there are exceptions to pretty much every rule, so it doesn't do for us to ever believe that we know everything, no matter how much has been revealed to us. For me, it is ceaselessly amazing how being the empty cup brings on this fullness. Things that seem so backwards or reversed keep turning up as truth instead. The mind is left pretty well defenseless in the presence of this backwardness. It's easy to see why Nancy Dennison chose backward books as her label for her writings on what she discovered on the other side during her NDE. We are all in our various states of advancement on the one hand. Nancy was sufficiently advanced in her 3D work to have left this realm behind if that was her choice. Instead, the heart of compassion brought her back to share with her brethren the surprisingly backward state of affairs she discovered that we're living here, and we are all blessed by her work. So, some seem to have some spiritual advancement or development. Don't let that fool you. Don't think yourself in any way less than these or anyone, for you are not. In the higher reality, all are so completely equal as to be one, that one and the same, as exemplified in my channel name. These eyes through which I hope to see God are the eyes through which God sees me. All are the same one. On the other hand, we take our parts in the grand drama, the play we're all acting out here in 3, 4, and 5D, the most relevant frequencies for us just now. We play our parts. They are not us. The sooner we recognize and then more deeply realize that, the better. It's a great weight lifted up off of our shoulders right away once we see through the veil this way. This type of seeing is appropriate now, for it's the time of the great shift, the one that we've been making for decades now. Only lately has the speed of it so increased that it makes for quite a challenge just keeping up with the internal changes going on. To the extent that we're both aware of them and non-resistant to them, they're enabled to go even faster. When it gets to be too much, feel free to call out for a break. Do what you can to pamper yourself, friends. Take very good care of you. Now, more than ever, this is not only helpful, but even necessary if we want to make as smooth a transition as is possible. Let us not look to others to figure out what is happening within us. Their path might be different. Now, sure, it's great fun when we find that resonance, when we find someone sharing almost exactly what we're experiencing. That's a real joy. But it's also important to be true only to you, or to you first. So, let's make the habit to no more give our power away as we did in the old days to gurus, teachers, saints, gods, heroes, whatever. While these are fine to respect and even follow to the extent that we resonate with them, let's never again elevate such ones above our own head or heart. When this seems to happen, let us remind the self that all is just one, and that which you're seeing is in that one. Whomever it is, you wouldn't be able to see it absent its existence within you. You have to master or own a thing to a certain extent before you can see that thing in action around you. We also forget that our world, our reality, is a reflection of what's going on inside the self. Thus, that which we see that lifts our spirits, that seems to elevate us to the heights, let us own that, my friends. You have manifested that. While you may not fully see the reality of this right away, after all, it's not what you've been taught, yet I trust you will see it. If not already, then one day soon. You must be it before you can see it in another. And likewise, that goes for the one you curse or put down in any way. What you're seeing in them, that's actually in the self. Own that too. And yeah, that one is harder to own, isn't it? Well, not for long. We are being so cleaned out, so changed from within and without, that we are not the old ones we thought we were. We are not those human beings with all of their foibles and hang-ups and talents and blessings and abilities. Instead, we begin to see those as the parts we've been playing in the grand drama, rather than as who we truly are. Yet, by owning only the light side, as some like to do, only the supposedly good stuff, we do ourselves a certain harm, the harm of not being in balance. The dark is just as much a reality as the light, only it's been vilified and condemned in our world to such an extent as to make it something none of us want to own up to its presence within. Well, get into heart for the remedy to that, my friends. Only with heart vision can you see the better, the purer way, the way in which you come to understand that both dark and light, or right and wrong, are also just elements of the play, the grand design of it. They are no more real than all the judgment, war, and anger they inspire. The arrogance of thinking you are right and others wrong. Utter stuff and nonsense. When will we awaken? When will we choose to do that? Are you one of those still sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen? Something magical to occur that will somehow pull you up into the higher frequencies? If so, you may have a long wait, for what I've discovered is that this awakening stuff is absolutely not a spectator sport. We have to take whatever risks are involved to get in there and make positive choices, to even take chances on things. Otherwise, how will we know which path is true and which false? I myself have taken any number of what turned out to be dead ends as far as their surface appearance in 3D goes. Yet by taking those journeys, I was unutterably enriched. Finding out what doesn't work is just as valuable as discovering what does. Or almost. Once you know you are source, that you are the divine, then you begin to shed fear like last year's winter coat. You have no more need of it, no more need to hide aspects of yourself from yourself. You can finally let it go, realizing that as source, you have literally nothing to fear. There is no path you cannot take, no thing you cannot explore to discover its nature in the experience of it. As that, as the one, you are untouchable. Put another way, as spirit, not flesh, anything that happens in 3D, whether to the flesh or the mind or anything else, does not touch you, the real you. It cannot. It has no entree into that. Own your divinity, my friends. Let's all wake up to that. Now take your time, sure, there's no need for hurry. Just open your inner eyes, your heart vision. Spend some time in heart and begin to see life through heart's perspectives. This will take you far, far beyond anything mind can ever dream up. So let's start giving our thoughts much less attention and belief. Let's instead find our inner core and just camp out there. Let's see what there is to be seen on this much deeper level that one and all have access to. The price of a ticket? To recognize that you are not mind. You have a mind, but you are not the mind. You are the awareness working through the body and the mind instead. And for many, it's a new view, sure. It's a strange perspective when first encountered, enough to even make you a bit dizzy at times. I know it did me. Nonetheless, it's fun to explore and discover, and just a great joy to be alive and waking up like this. Mostly before we took ourselves and our thoughts way too seriously, we could get pretty grouchy when someone disagreed with us. Well, what a hoot that is to watch now when we see the silliness of it, of all that reliance on that old 5% mind as if it was the end-all and the be-all, the arbiter of every question that arose. Remind you of science, maybe? It's hilarious, really. I'm glad as more and more people come into this realization, being able to laugh at the self. That might be one of the biggest blessings and gifts awakening has to give us. What do you say? How good are you at laughing at your own expense? Once we can begin to truly enjoy it, we're well on our way home. Namaste.